Back on Golf Today. Time now for Manage Your Expectations, presented by Arccos. Glad to have our friend and Arccos Lead Data Analyst Lou Stagner back. It's been fun learning about the power of on-course data from you and Arccos. Let's get back on some of the really interesting data that we've dug up for the years to help players manage their expectations on the golf course, starting with the driver, which is really, some might say, a crucial club in the bag, Lou.
Yeah, it is one of the most important clubs in the bag. And the first thing we want to talk about here around managing expectations is make sure you're playing the right tees. When we look at the data, there are far too many players playing the golf course extremely long for how far they hit it and for their skill level. So my first bit of advice to you is make sure you're playing tees that are appropriate for how far you hit it and for your skill level.
We love the big stick, especially when it's working. Probably a good time to show my average driver distance, 282. I knew I was pretty long off the tee, but this even surprised me, Lou.
Yeah, when I think of bombers off the tee, I think of Rory, and then I think of Damon Hack.
Thank you.
So your distance it's a huge advantage, and we want someone hitting driver as much as they possibly can. So work on speed and get faster, and start hitting the ball as far as you can, and also hit the driver as often as you can. Too many people drop down to 3-wood for accuracy. And the reality there is most people have the same accuracy with driver as they do with 3-wood. The only time I would suggest dropping down to 3-wood is if you can remove the opportunity of reaching trouble. Other than that, hit the big stick. Keep hitting it out there as long as you can.
Good advice. I will continue to do so, Lou. How about approach play? It definitely separates the good players from the great ones. I mean, par is always a great score, and the approach play really leads to those great scores.
Yeah, approach play is such an important part of the game. And as players continue to improve, approach play is really what's going to differentiate, turning you into a scratch player from being a 10 handicap. I think we're showing right now, a 10 handicap from 210 yards in the fairway, they average over 4 strokes to get the ball in the hole. So what you can do with your approach play is, one, take enough club. Too many amateurs are leaving shots too short far too often. So take enough club, know your numbers. You can use a tool like Arccos to know how far you're actually hitting each one of your clubs, and then pick smart targets, pick conservative targets, stay away from trouble, and that's going to help bring those scores down. And continue to work on the approach play because it's so important.
I agree with that completely, especially on a Donald Ross course. It's okay, you can be a little short in the flag. I'd say flag high to short is better than long, but most amateurs rarely hit the ball over the green. They often end up short. Speaking of short, Lou, the short game, a crucial aspect of playing good golf.
Yeah, the short game is a differentiator for some players. So it's every part of the game is important. Short game is also extremely important. And one thing I'll say, though, this is kind of dovetails into the approach game. Us amateurs, we typically are not doing very well from bunkers. We want to avoid those bunkers. When we watch the pros on TV, we often hear announcers talking about, pros intentionally trying to get it into bunkers. That's going to be better than playing for the rough. And for them, it oftentimes is. For us amateurs, it's just the opposite. We want to try to shift and avoid and move away from having to play out of bunkers. But it also identifies opportunities to work on your game so you can get a shot that you can comfortably play from out of the bunker.
Fantastic information. Lou, I'm going to see if I can bump up my 282 driving average to maybe 290 for the new year, and you've helped a lot, Arccos, as well. Thank you so much for your time, Big Lou.
Thanks, Damon. See you soon.
All right, folks, much more to do on this Wednesday. Stay with us on the other side of the break. We're catching up with the 2022 LPGA Rookie of the Year. Ty Titikan joins ahead of this week's season-ending event in Naples, Florida.